Hello, housemates, and welcome back to Planescape Torment on the River Lethe. When we left off last time, we'd wandered into this portal that goes into a mausoleum. Now, I didn't remember this when I walked in the first time, but this is actually a quest that we have, I believe. Yes, look into the matter of the mausoleum's walking dead. I believe that this was Naroch told us to go do this. So we're going to do, because here's the portal that he's mentioned in the archway. So we talked to the ghost who was angry at us and was like, get out, there's a necromancer here, we've had enough interlopers, and I offered to get rid of this interloper, so we're going to do that. Now there's a lot of like big old skeleton dudes in here, like the ones we fought in the mortuary, so this could be a little bit ugly if I recall. Oh, there may also be traps. I may actually want to have thief training before I do this. I forgot about that. So we may need to leave this for later, actually. So, I guess what we want to do then is probably... I think we need to go to Ragpicker's Square. Let's run into this person's house randomly. No, go into the house. Hello, Shilandra. Blast! I almost had it that time. Don't you know it's dangerous to interrupt spellcasters while they are evoking a spell? Luckily for you, I was only practicing. Well, what is it you want? My apologies for disturbing you. Farewell. Well, that was enlightening. Anything happen if I steal? No. I think we come back here at some point for something. I don't remember what it is.
All right.
Pretty much, as I've said. Oh, you want some? Thug? If someone has a name in an RPG, that means that they will in some way be important at some point. Die. All of you.
Damn.
Die, thug. Alright. I feel like to get thief trained, I have to progress a little bit in the quest and then talk to her. Anna.
I'm gone.
Like the Dusty's lost one of the deaders.
Angar's house, open tomb. Alright, so I need to go back this way. And then... guess we'll go down to the bottom here.
Gone.
Here's a drunk harlot. Let's talk to her. The woman stumbles into you, then takes a step back, looking up at you with a half smile. She smells like a distillery. Greetings? Hello! She waves at you, then breaks into a stream of giggles. Hello, big cutter. She starts laughing again. Are you okay? She squints at you, puts her hand on her hips, and bends over enough to give you a bird's eye view of her bosom. Don't I look okay to you, cutter? Well... She shakes herself, causing numerous jiggles, then starts laughing again. You're the one who looks to be needing some lovin' care. She pokes you in the chest with her finger for emphasis. You offering? She gives you a mock stern gaze. Yeah, I might be, if and you make the right offer. She presses up against you. What'll it be? Sure. All right then. She stares you up and down, then seems to sober up a little. Nay. I think you'd be more than I could handle, you would. All right then. I had some questions. Oh, so you think I can help you? Aren't you a demanding cutter? Well, sweep me off my feet with such flattery. I actually don't need anything from her. You were about to turn away when you stop in your tracks. You suddenly have a feeling that something is wrong. And with this feeling comes a realization that this woman's drunkenness is just an act. As you take a closer look at her, you see the harlot tucking something into her sleeve. It looks like something of yours. Bait the woman into pickpocketing her again, and then observe her technique. You lean in close, laughing along with her, and you watch as her hand darts to your purse again. Her technique seems to be distracting the mark with her drunken chatter, and her bosom, while she lifts the coin from his purse. The sleeves of her dress look to be long and baggy on purpose to hide any stolen items in them quickly. You made a mental note of her technique, even as her hands make another grab for your purse. Grab her hand. She pulls her hand back before you can grab it. Her drunk expression vanishes, and she starts screaming at the top of her lungs. All right, then.
I feel stronger.
I went up a level. But now she's hostile? Okay.
Die.
Now...
Right.
Okay. We just killed her. I guess that's a thing.
I'm gone.
No one seems to care. Okay. Let's go this way. I don't know. I think I might want to save my leveling for when I become a rogue. Oh, and it's a lot of Dabus. Look at all these Dabus. Ash Mantle. Miriam. So we're in the market here.
Right.
Harlot.
All right.
There's a hive tout running around with, you know, a knife out. That seems odd.
Done.
Oh, hi. Fine. Thugs. Oh. Dakan got knocked out.
I'm hurt.
Okay. We have that ability that we can use. Yeah. So he's not dead anymore.
I'm gone.
He is pretty injured.
Endure. In enduring, grow strong. Your will be done.
What's up?
I'm sure that you can rest somehow. I just don't remember how to do it. Alright, that's the pause button.
I'm gone.
Whatever. We'll figure it out. Let's talk to Craddock. We have a quest to talk to him. You see a huge man watching the area with a tight-lipped frown and narrowed eyes. He is hunched slightly, as if bearing a heavy load on his shoulders. The unpleasant smell of sweat and dirt wafts from his clothes. Greetings. The man glances down at you and frowns deeply. Aye. What are you sniffing around here for? You Craddock? Mayhap. He studies your face, as if trying to recall you. If I am, what be it to ye? I've come with a message from Bane the Sender. The message states, the shipment must be incursed by the 3rd day or there will be a penalty. By the hells. Can they be such fools that they think we can miracle it there? Alright then. Your message has found its way to the right ears, for all the good it will do. What's the problem? Look around ye. Craddock nods at the laborers in the marketplace, then scowls. These laggards and half-wits can barely keep up with the load as it stands, and now it needs doing in half the time. Do you need any help? I'll tell you what I need. All my men to show up for work. July's gone missing since this morn, and I need him back now. July? Where did he go? That hive-bred goat is probably passed out on the street somewhere by the smoldering corpse bar, when he should be here helping us, worthless sod. Oh, I could go find him for you, for a price. Craddock is silent for a moment, then nods. Aye, ye find Jalad, and ye tell him to, or July, and tell him to drag his worthless, bub-ridden hide back here. I'll pay you for your trouble. He frowns. When you found him. Now get. Alright, I'll go look for him. Farewell.
Updated my journal.
Alright. So that's something that we did successfully. Ashmantle is obviously someone who we can talk to at some point. Yeah, there's really a lot of stuff I don't remember.
I'm gone.
I know that July is down
I'm
this
gone.
way somewhere. Yep, there he is. Hey. Hey, you. Come here. Are you July? If so, Craddock needs you back at the marketplace. Craddock? The man's eyes widen. Craddock. Migenres boss. Well, you can tell him this. He can pike off. And that he's a filthy dog. A cur of the lowest sort. And July's not a-working for him anymore. He jabs you with his finger. Tell him that. I'll tell him from a distance. Farewell. I have a feeling that's not going to make the dude too happy. We should also go back up to the place around the mortuary and tell Bane the Sender that we delivered the message.
I'm gone.
Because that was another side quest we had.
Done.
Looks like the Dusty's lost one of the deaders.
And here's Bane. You see Bane the Sender. As you approach, he looks at you hopefully. Were you successful in finding Craddock, good sir? Yes, and I passed along your message, although it didn't seem to please him.
Updated my journal.
Bane doesn't seem to have heard any word after yes, for he smiles and heaves a sigh of relief. Ah, good fortune indeed. Thank you, good sir, thank you. He reaches into his robe and pulls forth a handful of coppers, which he counts and then hands to you. 15 commons for delivering a message, eh? Fair enough. Oh, more than fair, good sir, more than fair. I can say without hesitation that there is no finer profession, all sigil, than that of a runner for the House of Senders. I'll keep that in mind. Farewell, Bane. Alright, so we did that. There's some XP. Go. I'm gonna talk to you again.
I've never seen something so ugly of now. Well, what is it?
Let's see. South and west of the mortuary. Okay, nothing new there.
I know deaders today said walking ones looks like. Slow sigil
Go into the gathering dust bar for a second. Trying to figure out. That's not what I want. Let's see. Do I just have to? I guess I just have to heal. There's not much in the way of resting to be done. Do +2 to 8 hit points, +1 armor class. Alright. Yeah, you don't look so peaked there, Dakon. Alright, so let's go back to Craddock and tell him the bad news. I'm sure he'll be thrilled.
I'm gone.
Lots of Githzerai townsfolk to condescend to us.
I'm gone. All right.
Come on, let's go. All right, Craddock. I found July. Is that right? Craddock glances around. Where is he? Truth. He said to, quote, pike off, that you were, quote, a cur of the lowest sort, and that, quote, he wasn't going to work for you any longer.
Updated my journal.
Craddock's face turns a bright red, and his face cracks into a snarl. Damned be his name. May all the evils of the plains hound his footsteps. A blistering stream of insults, threats, and speculation about July's family roots issues from Craddock's mouth.
New taunts, all right.
All right, so Morday's learning some stuff here from Craddock and his foul mouth. Craddock finishes his tirade with a grunt. Damn that July. I'm now imagining Craddock saying, I hope all the bad things in the world happen to you and you alone. Okay, let's see. Let's see here. I'm in need of a day's work. I'll take July's duties for a time in exchange for his pay. I think this might not work because we don't have enough strength. I think that's how this goes. Let's find out. Craddock studies you for a moment. Ye? Ha! You couldn't. He suddenly falls silent. Well, mayhap you can. It's hard work, and there's no drinking on my watch. Okay, maybe I was wrong. Understood. Let's get started. The work is long, but at the end of the shift, you were not the least bit tired. Craddock grunts as you return. You did well enough. Here's your pay. He tosses you a handful of coins. Now get. We have no more use for you. What about the payment for delivering July's message to you? Craddock grunts, then reaches into his purse and counts off 10 commons, which he tosses at you. There's your pay. Now get. All right, so some money and some XP. That's fine. There's just so many people here. Just talk to random people. Gauha. You see a thin, yellow-skinned humanoid covered with a variety of dazzling tattoos. His eyebrows have been accented with black charcoal lines, and his teeth are filed to points. He sees you, waves you over, rattling dice in his hand. Greetings. He is about to speak when his eyes, shiny and black like orbs of jet, fall upon Dakon. The two of them stare silently at each other for a moment before the tattooed Githzerai's gaze returns to you. His voice is low and raspy. Gaho greets you. You have come to play a game, yes? No, but I had some questions. Goha's smile fades in an instant, shakes his head. No interest in questions, have I? Only the game, the turning of the die, the glint of the coin, won or lost. He shakes the bone dice in his palm. You have no interest in these things? Let's play once and see what happens. All right, I'll play. I'm going to pronounce this name differently every time. Goha reaches into his tunic and pulls out a coin. This coin, your coin. He places it at your feet and pulls out another. This coin, Goha's. He places it at his own feet, then holds up 2 dice between his thumb and index finger. The dice. We both roll 1. Yes. Go on. You roll higher. Both coins. He snatches the coins up from the ground and proffers them to you. Yours. Goha roll higher. He quickly tucks the coppers back into his tunic. Mine. Neither rolls higher. The coin stays for another roll. So, how much coin will lie at your feet? Let's go for 5. You both roll the dice until you roll higher. You pick up the coins and put them away. Goha nods, frowning. It is enough for now, but perhaps we shall play again later, you and I. Wait, is something wrong? Goha regards you closely for a moment, then nods. Never do I indulge in Hashma's folly. Never do I cheat, human. But I see fortune, read it, know it in the face of a man. However, in you I see nothing. I know nothing. You have no luck, no fortune, neither good nor ill. Or you make your own, perhaps. I do not know. He places the dice back into his tunic. We might play later, perhaps, but no more at this moment. All right, farewell. So I'm a creepy, luckless, scarred weirdo man, and no one wants to play dice with me. Makes me sad.
Done.
God, so many people to talk to. No. This lady wants to sell fish heads. What do you have, Giscorl? You see a spindly-looking merchant with a brush of gray and red stubble across his chin. He wears several layers of brightly colored robes, so much so that he looks like a flag with arms and legs. He is shaking slightly as you watch. Greetings. I, Giscorl. He bows and spreads his trembling hands. As he does, you notice his hands and forearms are a twisted mass of black scar tissue, as if they were once badly burned. What are you selling? Giscorl buy cloth. Giscorl's voice ticks like a clock, flat and measured. Giscorl sell cloth, wash cloth, mend cloth, and he gestures at his layers of clothing with his shaking hands. Wear cloth. Can I see what you have? So he's got bandages, which we could use some of, as needle and thread, rags. We could sell some stuff. I don't think we need... I'm always hesitant to sell that kind of thing. These runes... I'm gonna sell this. Can I buy more than one? Oh, I could try and steal too, but I'm not gonna do that. Can I, like, buy multiple of these somehow? No, looks like not. Oh. I'm gonna just buy a couple bandages there. Let's ask him about being burned. I wonder if he has to do with, Ignis. How did you hurt your hands? Giscorl doesn't seem to have heard you. He answers only with his spiel, delivered in the same flat monotone. Giscorl buy cloth, sell cloth, wash cloth, mend cloth, and, he gestures at his layers of clothing with his shaking hands, wear cloth. I asked, how did you hurt your hands? Giscorl's monotone breaks. Giscorl buy cloth, sell cloth, wash cloth, mend cloth, and he gestures at himself again, but his hands are shaking so badly that he cannot even finish. Sorry to disturb you. Farewell. So, something really bad happened to him. I imagine if we bring... Yeah. At some point you can get Ignis in your party. I wonder if we can bring him here and it'll be, like, terrifying to that dude. Kosajai. This toothless old crone reeks of fish and brine. Spying your approach, she gives you a wide, pink smile. Fish, my child? Fish heads, mayhap? Child? Hardly. Oh, yes, yes, but a child ye are to my years. Oh, that's terrible. I'm not going to do that voice for so long. I believe you are mistaken. Take a closer look. She shuffles up to you. The fish stink is nearly overpowering. The old woman squints at your face, frowning, and then into your eyes. Only then does she recoil in surprise. Oh my, how many years have those eyes seen? I don't know. How many do you think? Don't know. Too many, I'd say. But no matter. She leans close to whisper in your ear. It won't do to rattle the passers-by. Let's keep it our little secret. She resumes her normal tone of voice. So, fish, my child. She pokes you in the belly. What are you offering exactly? Why, fish, my silly child. Fish of all sorts, and fish heads for those too short of jink for the whole ones. Teeny tiny fish heads. Where did the fish come from? They're brought to Sigil from all over the plains, my boy. Would ye like some? I sell only the heads, should you be short on jink. I don't need fish, but I had some questions. She shakes her little wrinkled head. No answers have I, only fish. Farewell, then. Well, that was enlightening. I don't want your jellied hydra eyeballs in aspic. That sounds gross. Let's talk to Profira. This grim-looking woman spares you only a brief glance before returning to her rant on the top of the stage. She has a powerful voice that carries across the marketplace, even cutting through the noise made by the merchants surrounding and the foot traffic. All right, well,
I'm gone.
That was nothing. All right, here is Reekwind. This man is looking at you with a strange, bug-eyed stare. His eyes are huge. So huge they look ready to pop out of his sockets and roll across the cobblestones. He nods eagerly as you approach, bobbing his head like a bird. As you near him, you suddenly notice the smell of urine and feces surrounding him. Greetings? The man sniffles, wiping his nose on his sleeve, then opens his mouth to reveal black, rotted gums. Stories for coin, sirrah. His breath reeks. It smells like this man has been keeping rotten meat stored inside his mouth. Stories for coin. Who are you? The man snorts, thick with phlegm. Names. Who are you? His head does a slight twitch every time he repeats himself. Names. Dangerous. He glances at the ground and stirs the dirt with his foot. Dangerous. Knowing a name or being stuck with one, both's a mess of trouble. He looks back up at you. My name's a given name, not one asked for. Reekwind. Once again, you become conscious of his reeking breath and the smell of urine and feces that surrounds him. A given name. Is that your real name? Not my true name. Reekwind mumbles on, his head twitching every time he says name. A true name's a dangerous thing, gives others power. He stares at you with his huge eyes and wags his finger. Keep your name secret. Keep it close. Never let it out. What do you mean? Names are like smells. Things can track you with them. Reekwind coughs, his eyes almost popping out of his skull as he does so. His cough seems to loosen his bowels, for he breaks wind loudly, as if to accentuate his point. If someone knows a true name, it gives them power. He licks his lips. The power to hurt. I don't know my true name.
Updated my journal.
Reekwind's eyes widen. Seeing his eyeballs bulge even larger makes you uneasy. Then you are blessed. Remain nameless, and you shall be as a spirit of the plains, untraceable, untrackable, unseen, undiscovered. He smacks his gums wetly. A name chosen, a name given. It allows others to find you and hurt you. Have you been hurt? Reekwind gives a twitching nod, then scratches himself. Let my name slip once, only once. His eyes film over as if the memory is painful, then glances at you uneasily. Tell you the story I can, I will, but 3 coppers must I see. His face splits into a smile as he says the word coppers, and his reeking breath hits you like a hammer. Very well. Here's 3 copper. Reekwind gets into a stance, looks left, looks right, then faces you. His face clenches, then with a grunt, he breaks wind again. The smell nearly levels you, but he takes no notice. Cursed I walked the wards in splendor. He stands up stiffly, nose high in the air. He saunters back and forth, nodding to invisible passers-by.
Updated my journal.
Reekwind freezes, his arms akimbo. Crossed path with the crossed one. Had the looking of a pumpkin, his seeds, curses. Reekwind then thrusts his belly out so as to appear fat, slicks back his hair with his filthy palm so he looks almost bald, and begins drumming his fingers on his fat belly. He then walks about, circling the spot where his stuffy upper-class persona. All a jumble with curses this one was. With a sneer and a careless gesture, Reekwind tosses an invisible curse at the stuffy persona. Listen. Knew my name, let it slip I had. All it took it all. He stiffens up again, inhaling deeply, and resuming his upper-class persona. The persona suddenly crumples, and Reekwind breaks wind violently, then exhales, filling the air with his foul, reeking breath, cursed with stenches, smells, excrement. Came here to tell tales, all good for now. Now, Reekwind is the name, given name. I see. I had other questions. Questions. Reekwind hunches over, regarding you warily with his huge eyes. Answers? Let's see. You could hear another story. Tell you a story I can, but 3 coppers must I see. Okay, let's see if he tells us a different story. He takes the copper, gums it, then to your surprise, he swallows it. Best purse there is, belly. He gives a reeking wheeze. A story. He smacks his lips, scratching his dirty rags. I want to hear the story of the man who came to this city without a name or memory and spoke with the cursed storyteller who warned him. No, let's wait for him to choose something first. Spireward. He points to his left, at the charred alley in the distance. An alley of dangerous angles. He bends his limbs in a twisted parody of one of the skeletal buildings. Not always angled, not always burned and charred. Alive, once alive, no longer. Listen. Flames, fire. He flings his hand up in the air, then waves them to simulate flames. The alley burned, great smoke, ash everywhere. In the end, only skeletons of buildings left. Bones of dead buildings, angles. Everywhere, angles.
Updated my journal.
He hunches forward, his voice a whisper. Again, the stench from his body hits you like a wave. Dangerous now. Bad men have set up their kip there. He bows, and then breaks wind in quick spurts, like a bugle blowing. That is the tale of how a street becomes an alley of dangerous angles. How did the fire start? He makes a semicircle over his heart. A man made it so. A beast made it so. A man who even fiends admire. Who? A sorcerer's tale filled with madness, sadness, burning, yearning. A tale I can tell I will. But 3 coppers I must see. He hisses, then cackles in a way that reminds you of fire burning. A dangerous tale. Very well. A sorcerer there was. No simple hedge wizard was this, but a mage of power. Reekwind brings his hands together reverently, then smiles evilly. He burned with the art, and the art burned him. The given name was Ignis, a name respected, then feared, then hated, then punished. Reekwind gives a rattling wheeze, then claws the air and hisses, apparently imitating Ignis. Taught by one of the last great magi Ignis was, and as an apprentice, Ignis learned much, and nothing at the same time. Reekwind shakes his head sadly. In his heart, his cold, black heart, a fire blazed. It burned, and it hungered. Reekwind clawed at his chest as if in pain. As it hungered, Ignis hungered. It was his wish to see the plains burn. In the night, Reekwind hunches down and begins to slowly stalk in the direction of an alley. A mad grin on his face, Ignis came to the alley that was to be the alley of angles, and the fire in his eyes, the fire in his heart, both he let out. Reekwind points at the alley, then flings his arms in the air, silently screaming and laughing at the same time. Flesh ran like wax, people like candles, and Ignis laughed. Reekwind crumples to the ground, his body racked with imagined pain. An evil was done, and forgotten not. He stands up, then hunches over, looks left, looks right, then starts mumbling, as if in a secret conference with someone. Something was to be done. He stands up stiffly, his face resolute. A punishment was decided. All the hedge wizards, midwives, rune tellers, copper-pinching witches, all manner of magelings, they came all, even with the smallest trace of the art, to punish Ignis. Separately, they were flies. He makes a buzzing noise between his rotten gums. Together, dangerous. He hums, then raises his hands. Caught Ignis, granted his wish. He swirls his hands as if casting a spell. He wished to burn, and they granted it. Using his own desire to fuel the casting, they made his body a door to the plane of fire. They intended to kill him.
Updated my journal.
Failed. Reekwind breaks wind again, as if to accentuate the failure of the wizards. Ignis lived, only slept, blanket of flames, turned in his sleep as he burned, never happier. He shuts his eyes, wraps his arms around himself, and turns slowly, burning, ever burning. His eyes suddenly snap open. One day he will awake, and then the plains shall burn. An unfortunate tale. I have some other questions for you. Questions. All right. Let's see if he has a story about Farid. Reekwind suddenly hunches over and leers at you. He walks around you for a moment, dragging his leg as if lame. A king, a noble tale, a tale I can tell, but 3 coppers I must see. We're gonna spend like $1 bajillion listening to this guy. Reekwind remains hunched over, staring at you. Once a man of respect, Farid was. A man of goals and position. All became nothing, turned to air. Reekwind squints, then breaks wind, filling the air with a gut-churning smell. Turned to air and stink. A liar, a cheater, a man who twisted the law, Farid was. He hunches over, as if writing at a desk. He writes for a moment, then suddenly stops, afraid. Then one day, he found that he had twisted himself. Such a liar he had become that when he died, he was to go to a horrible place. Reekwind shakes his head sadly, then hunches over again and looks wildly in all directions. Farid would not accept it, would not. He had cheated others, he would cheat his fate too. He read, dug in books, and consulted seers. Reekwind stalks back and forth, his hands over his eyes as if staring off into the distance. And then they told him that only in trash could he find that which would lead him to cheat his fate. Reekwind breaks wind again, then gives a reeking cough. Perhaps they lied.
Updated my journal.
Reekwind stands up stiffly, then begins to fling off imaginary clothes. With every piece of clothing he throws away, he becomes more hunched. Farid threw away his position, his goals, and took up a new title. Reekwind stops, then leers at you. He claws at his rags, shaking them, and he became a king of rags. He would rule the trash and have his subjects search it all and find that which he needed. He shakes his head. He looks even now. Do you know where I can find him? Reekwind shakes his head. He lives amongst rags and trash. There you will find him. More questions? I'm missing a journal. Have you seen one? Reekwind breaks wind, then scratches his arm. He thinks for a moment, then shakes his head. No journal have I seen. Can you tell me about this area? The hive, a tale I can tell, I will, but 3 coppers I must see. All right. No, I've already heard this one. Damn it, did I give him money already? Lame. I'd like to hear a story. Yeah, sure. Let's wait for him to choose a story. Okay, I think no, we've already done that. So we've wasted a little bit of money here, but now we're going to do this last option. I want to hear the story of the man who came to this city without name or memory and spoke with the cursed storyteller who warned him of the danger of names. Requin stops twitching and scratching for a moment and stares at you. That tale costs nothing, for it is worth nothing, and it is worth noting that it would be a sad tale indeed. Nevertheless, I would hear it. Where would such a tale begin? Requind grunts and then gives a reeking wheeze that makes your eyes tear up. He seems to be thinking. It would begin with a man waking up in the mortuary, believed dead, but in truth, only his memories are dead. Requind nods, then studies you and starts scratching himself violently, as if to give himself scars. Dead but not dead. No memories, no name. He escapes the mortuary, enters the hive, and speaks to a man who let his true name slip once and has regretted it. Requind seems hypnotized by your words. Yes, much danger in naming. Perhaps, he pauses, perhaps the man to whom the Nameless one speaks is a warning to the danger of names. He seems to chew this over. Perhaps he has forgotten his name, is better off. Is he? Is it better to suffer the truth with all its consequences, or is it better to remain ignorant? Which of the two men is better off? Requind gives a hacking cough, then spits, the spittle green and wet. Then he turns back to you. It is your question, your tale. He speaks slowly. It is you who must answer it. I want to hear your answer. Requind shakes his head. My answer. He coughs, belching forth another wave of fumes. He smacks his lips, as if trying to drive the taste from his mouth. My answer is this. They are both fools, but only one knows himself a fool. I've heard enough. Farewell. That was an interesting little interaction. One of many in this game. Let's talk to Iron Knolls. This broad-shouldered woman is shuffling about amongst the huge beams lying on the street. She kicks at the beams with iron-shod boots. Every once in a while, she bends down and wrenches a nail from one of the boards with her bare hands. She holds each one up, appraising it, and then drops it into a leather sling bag. Greetings. She straightens up, hearing you approach. She's smiling politely, but from her stance and the way her hands rest close to the hilt of her weapon, you can tell she's ready for trouble. You notice one of her eyes has a milky film over it. That's close enough there, Cutter. What do you need from me? I had questions. She nods. Ask away, then. What are you doing? She rolls her eyes. What did it look like I was doing, Burke? Collecting nails. She laughs gently, shaking her head. Why? I sell him to a man named Hamirs in the lower ward. Maker of coffins, he is. Tell me more of this Hamris. There's not much to say. He's a bit chatty. He'll rattle his bone box till you're barmy if you let him. But a fair bargainer. He needs the nails, I need the jink, and that's about as far as it goes. Where's the lower ward? I used to know the way I did, but the Dabbas have changed the streets around again. Don't know how to get there now. I'll need to chart a new path, but I figure the Dabbas will straighten things out eventually. Does anyone else here scavenge nails? She grins and shakes her head. No one was clever enough or had the will to do it before me, and I've shoved off anyone who's tried to claim me jump me claim since. She pats the long-bladed dagger hanging at her side. Your claim? Aye, that's what I call it. Honest labor's hard to come by in the hive, and I'm not about to let some sodden piker peel me off me work. I've sent more than one Burke running and a howling, holding their guts in, or off with the collectors if they were unlucky. Her dead eye gleams maliciously. The Hive knows this spot is Iron Null's, it does. Is that how your eye was ruined? Null's face turns hard. None of your business, Burke. Why? Would you like a matching wound for your collection? No, not really. I had some other questions. No, alright. Oh, hello, stupid Hive thugs.
I'm hurt.
Ow.
I'm hurt.
My skills have increased.
Alright, Morte just leveled up. One hit point, 2 hit points, so 3 hit points total. Good stuff. You haven't leveled up yet. I have. I guess I'll go ahead and level up to 5 as a fighter. So I gained another characteristic point. I got 8 hit points. My fighting skills have improved. And that's all I got. So, let's see. I'm going to put my dex up again. Because eventually I want to do some thiefy stuff. Okay. Did that actually go through? Yeah, okay, good.
Okay.
I forgot that I can use the other party members. They have inventories. Okay. Let's see. Southeastern portion of the Hive. That's to the Alley of Dangerous Angles. Marketplace. Hive dwelling. Let's explore this area a little bit more. Frightened Hive Dweller, more thugs, more harlots, Crier of Essanon, Collector. Let's talk to this guy. Streams of tears have carved channels down this man's dust-covered face. He looks to be a monk or a holy man of some sort, but the dirt covering his body makes it nearly impossible to see the man beneath. He is chanting and rolling his head back and forth. It looks like some sort of ritual. Greetings. The man stops his frenzied chanting and glares at you with his tear-rimmed eyes. He opens his parched mouth to speak, but all he can manage is a withered croak. What's wrong? Why are you crying? His voice is so hoarse that it sounds like he's been without water for days. As you watch, a tear trickles down his face. I am a crier of Essanon. Essanon? Who is that?
Updated my journal.
Who is Essanon? The man throws back his head and gives a rasping laugh. It sounds brutal and defeated. Essanon is not a man, but a city. Why do you cry for a city? We cry its name because Essanon must not be forgotten. All the criers of Essanon carry this burden. You mourn a city. Why would you do such a thing? Because its name is all that remains. Its avenues of light, its great spiraling parks. When it was laid waste and reduced to memory, only 70 of its people survived. It was our duty to see that its name was remembered across the plains. Many criers of Essanon have died for the sake of remembering. Many. If it places you and the others at risk, why don't you stop? The tears I shed, the dust that cloaks me, these things are as nothing compared to what awaits should I give up my sacred burden. We must see to it that its name is remembered. We are living memorials to its passage. If that's so, then what happens if you all die? A fresh tear springs to the crier's eye. Even his dust-caked face cannot disguise his look of despair. I do not know. We criers of Essinon cannot mourn it forever. Even now, the dust clings to our robes, the spit dries in our mouths, and our bodies wither and die. Is there any way I could help you? You are kind to ask. The crier shakes his head. Unless you can immortalize Essinon, there is no help to be had. Does it have to be you that cries Essinon's name? Does it matter? Another man might cry the name, but then he too would die. A tear slowly forms in the corner of his eye and then begins to trickle down his cheek. There is nothing to be done. When the criers of Essinon die, so dies Essinon. Perhaps it should be, it sounds, is the act of remembering. What about a tombstone? The crier blinks. Tombstone? It's a stone that records a man's name, his life, and a eulogy. If it serves a man, could it not also serve a city that has died? Stones may do such things? Yes, and their lifetime is much longer than a man's. If its name was carved on stone, would Essinon's memory be served? The man pauses. Would others see this name? Yes, it would be there for all to see, long after you have died. The man nods. If such a thing were possible, he turns to you. Where would one find such a stone? In exchange for some coppers, I could go seek a tombstone and have Essinon's name carved upon it. You would do this? The man's eyes water up again. You would be setting all the criers of Essinon free. But 70 of us remain. The burden of remembering would be over after so many years, and all you ask is some copper in return? Yes. Then you shall have it. The crier reaches into his robe and draws forth 5 copper coins, which he counts off to you. It is all I have. I hope it is enough. It'll have to do. All right. I'll return when I have placed Essinon's name upon the stone.
Updated my journal.
All right, so that's pretty easy. We can just go to the place outside the mortuary, talk to Death of Names.
Done.
We should talk to other named people when we get back. You can see there is a day-night cycle. I don't think it does that much. Death of Names. Got some work for you.
Maybe I could gut a dust
Done.
names like the Dusty's lost one of the data that a country be telling us copper about now.
Alright, where are you? There you are. There's Death of Names. Greetings. I'd like to bury a name. He nods, then unfolds his small hand from where it is cradled on his side. It looks atrophied. It is the size of a child's hand. Costs Jink to bury a name. 3 coppers. 3. Essinon.
Updated my journal.
The coppers fall into Death of Name's hand, and he tucks his arm back to his side. His eyes, now suddenly alive, roll to the back of his head, then snap forward and begin scanning the monolith and the walls of the memorial area. Wait. He catches sight of a spot on the wall, and then he quickly scuttles over to it, punches down, and then begins to chip at the wall. He stops a few minutes later, hops up, then returns to you. Buried. The word has a finality about it that makes you uncomfortable. So you can see that we can bury a couple of other names. We can bury Dayanara, Dal, and Adon. So it's obviously... Oh wait, that was the wrong option. 2. We can bury Dayanara, Dal, or Quentin. Quentin is the guy who's sitting here looking at the names every day. Dal is the dude from the mortuary who's the scribe, and Dayanara is the ghost that we spoke to. I think doing this to somebody who's still alive is usually kind of a shitty thing to do, so we're not going to do that. I don't remember what happens when you do that to Quentin, but I'm not doing the sort of chaotic jerkbag playthrough, so we won't do that. What we are going to do is we're going to go back and talk to the crier. No, go this way.
Done. I'm gone.
Let's see if July has anything interesting to say now. July, look, I'd watch out. Craddock's angry, and he threatened to kill you if he sees you again.
Updated my journal.
July grunts. What a fool I was. I just popped out for a quick bite of bub, and then next moment... Thank you for the warning. Just be careful. Farewell. So, yeah. That's just a minor little interaction. I don't think it has any impact. It might have some kind of impact on your alignment. Alright. Where are you, crying dude? I'm doing this so you'll stop crying. God.
I'm gone.
Where did you go? There you are. I have seen to it that Essenon's name has been remembered. It lies carved upon the black stone monument outside the mortuary.
Updated my journal.
Suddenly, there is a brief whisper in the air, and the man's eyes dry. One of the tears that ran on his cheek simply vanishes. Then Essenon is served. I will tell my fellow criers of the stone you have described. You have my gratitude. It was nothing. Farewell. I hope you and your brothers spend the rest of your days peacefully. Alright. So, anyone interesting down here? There's more harlots. Thugs. Creedon. Oh, fine. Assholes. You see, combat is not particularly exciting. Alright, Creedon. I want to go talk to Miriam up here, and then I think we'll end this episode. This old woman stands silently by the wall, staring off into the distance. She seems to be unconcerned with the flow of traffic around her, and clutches a wooden pole from which dozens of small fish are dangling. More fish ladies. Greetings. Oh, hello, sir. She squints at you for a moment, trying to discern your identity. Oh my, ere I was thinking ye one of me regular customers. She proffers her fish pole. Tuna, sir. Mackerel. Sea cucumber? No fish, thanks. I had some questions. Her mouth presses down to a tight-lipped frown. She stares behind your shoulder. Look behind you to see what she's staring at. You can see nothing of interest behind you. As you turn back to her, you catch her looking at you. She looks away quickly, resuming her staring off into the distance once more. I think she just pulled like the oldest trick in the book on us there. What? Do I look familiar to you? Goodness, no. She pauses for a moment. Aye, you do. Have you seen me before, then? I think ye, or a man with ye very likeness, sir. 'Twas so long ago. Tell me. Well, sir, you see, me sight's not so good now. 'Twasn't back then neither, but I thought I saw ye walking past with a small group trailing along behind ye. What did these people look like? It's hard to say, sir. 'Twas so long ago, and ye walked by so quick-like, but I remember now the way ye held your head up. There was a woman following ye, trying to stop ye, to get ye to turn around and speak to her, but ye pushed her away. What happened then? Beautiful woman she was, looked so sad, so angry all at once. She stood there for a moment, then followed along behind ye just the same, hustling to catch up. You said there was a group there. Who else was there? She shrugs. There was at least 2 other gentlemen with you, sir. The only one I remember too clearly, though, was tall, thin, reeked of bub he did. I smelled him from across the way. Looked like he hadn't bathed in ages, too. He followed ye close, he did, and he never said a word. Acted like the woman wasn't even there, even when she bumped against him, trying to stop ye. That's all I remember, sir. I'll give her some copper for a time. How much do I give the fishwife? Let's give her 10. Oh my. Why, thank ye, sir, most kindly. May the lady's shadow pass over ye. Okay, well that didn't take as long as I thought it was going to. Let's talk to this dude down here, Creedon. I feel like I need to make a joke. Creedon's Clearwater Revival or something. There's a foul-looking... this foul-looking man is quick to notice he's caught your attention. In moments, he's upon you, hawking his wares. He carries a long wooden pole. Dozens of skin and cooked rats dangle from it. As he speaks, he gestures to them with a broad, filth-encrusted hand, smiling a yellow, snaggle-toothed grin all the while. Oi, Cutter, how you doing there? What sort of delicious ratsies is ye interested in this fine day? Examine the ratsies. Each rat has been skinned and gutted, their feet and tails removed. They dangle from the pole by hooks punched through their necks. As you examine the various manners in which they've been prepared, you realize their heads are slightly misshapen. A bulbous knot of bone protrudes from each cranium, covered in whorls that give it the appearance of brain tissue. Those are strange-looking rats. Aye, you've got a keen eye there, Cutter. All I sell is brain vermin, I do. I'm sure you'll find they got a much richer flavor than your usual rat. Quite nice, really. He proffers them to you, once more waving the pole before your face enticingly. The rats sway to and fro, hooked like tiny sides of beef. Brain vermin? Aye, Cutter, brain vermin. Foul creatures they are. Now, your normal rats, they just eat stored goods and multiply, spread disease and all that. A nuisance, really, no more. Your cranium rat, though, brain vermin, what I got after. They're just trouble. When you get more than a handful of little pikers together, they start to get smart on ye. Sometimes real smart. They become more intelligent? Sure as I'm standing here before ye, they do. If I ran across any more than 20 of 'em, I'd flee for me life. I'd flee for me case like that. He snaps to emphasize the point. I would. You get that many of 'em in a pack, why they get smart as a man, they do. Go on. Here's me best advice for you, Cutter. If you're bent on catching brain vermin, stick to small packs, a dozen or so at most. But I tell ye, he steps close, his breath fetid in your face, and speaks in a hushed tone. You run into more than that, more than a couple dozen. You run like you're in the shadow of the lady. He backs away from you. Why? What is there to fear? Sorcery, Cutter. Sorcery. He gets enough of these little fiends in a space, they gain all sorts of odd powers. Makes a basher's brain pour out his ears, they will. Downright frightening. It's just wrong, I tell ye. That's why Sigil is so eager to be rid of them, the bounty and all. Someone's paying for rat tails. That's right, Cutter. There's a Burke in the Office of Vermin Disease Control named Lort who pays a bounty on them. A copper a head. Yeah, tail it is. But they gotta be brain vermin, they do, not just ordinary rats. Tell me about this Lort fellow. His name's Phineas. Phineas Lort. Think he's some sort of high-up he was, put down by his rivals and stuck here on the arse end of Sigil. The Burke sits there alone all night and day, it seems, waiting for folk to bring in tales and paying them the bounty. You know the best part? Poor sod must be allergic to rats, 'cause he's always got a huge rash going. Powers be praised, I ain't that fellow. Put down? Any idea why that would happen? Well, he's right chatty, he is. He'll rattle his bone box for hours on just how smart he is and the like. Mayhap that got something to do with it. He shrugs. Perhaps I'll go speak with him. Farewell. He touches your arm. I see you're leaving, Cutter, but before you go, would you like a nice, delicious ratsy? One for the road, you might say. Why not? Good, Cutter, good. What sort would she like? He points to each in turn with a grimy fingernail. I got them baked, spiced, boiled and charred, all fresh, all scrumptious, and only 3 coppers for 2. I'd like a spiced rat. Ye hand over your coppers, and in one swift motion he runs a pair of spiced rats through with a wooden skewer, unhooks them, then places them on your hand. He winks at you. Enjoy, cutter. Eat the ratsy. The rat meat is aromatic and quite spicy, apparently marinated in some sort of herbal mixture before being cooked. It's a bit greasy and rather rich, tasting of some other meat you've had before. The man looks at you expectantly. Did he like? Would he like another? No more for me. Farewell. Alright, delicious ratsies for our evening meal, and that will be the end of this episode. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, please hit that thumbs up button. If you'd like to see more of the Nameless one's adventures in Sigil, now that we know that being nameless is perhaps a good state to be in, well then, subscribe to my channel. If you're not going to do either of those things, then I don't care what you do.